Nice.
All right, what's up, BCT family? Bringing to you our first podcast. It's January 2024. Got a special guest and my future co-host, the big man, KCG. What's up?
What's up, buddy? We're back in the lab, in the studio, the Bourbon City Tackle Studio. Looks good, man. I can tell you did a lot of work here.
Oh, yeah. My wife has been nagging me about all these things around the house, about new ceiling fans and paint and stuff. Knocked this out in the weekend. The first thing she said, "Oh, it's amazing what you can do if you try." Maybe I'll look at that
You
list around
showed
here.
your cards, yeah.
Yeah, that was don't look outside this room. This room looks nicer than the rest of the house, but I got some work to do for sure.
Well, what we drinking on tonight, buddy?
And first bourbon of the podcast is gonna be a little bit of Blanton's, featured on our weekly bourbon review. No kidding, Blanton's is my favorite. I don't think you can go wrong. What do you think?
I love it. Yeah. A nice full.
Don't say it's smooth. If you say
I was going there, but I know your hard fast rule. It's got a good flavor to it, man. It's got a little bit of a bite, which I like. I like a bourbon that's going to warm me up, make me feel good about drinking. On a nice Kentucky fall day, or now it's
that's enough. That's you're just making it up. I mean, in all seriousness, it's not super harsh. It finishes well. It's got a little bit of a sweet flavor. Don't mix it with something. This is not a bourbon that I would do the shame of putting it with some Coke. But I mean, honestly, I mean, you can't go wrong. $100 is about what you can find it for, and I try not to pass up very many bottles. I can find it for $100. So anyway, we're on here. We're on a podcast. First podcast I've ever done. Have you ever done any podcasts before?
No, first timer here as well.
Yeah. This is awkward, a little bit awkward. We're gonna work through this. January, super cold outside. We got some really cold weather moving in the next couple of days. Was hoping to get out on Dale Hollow this weekend and do a little bit of live scope action. I mean, down there a couple weeks ago, wasn't too bad. Was kind of mild. I think you and I went. It was pretty action filled day.
I don't know why we went, but I think we caught 4 fish that whole day.
I think 4 is right. I'm trying to remember what the ratio, the split was.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. No need. I'm all about quantity, or I should say quality over quantity, but I think that's also a lie. They're both lies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice warm day. I mean, we were out there for, I don't know, a few hours, and it was pretty mild. Sun was pretty bright, but the fish just weren't cooperating.
Yeah, we could see them on the scope, see them, chase the bait, get interested for a second, and then nothing. It's one of the most frustrating things ever, but you can watch it all day. It's insane how that works.
We don't fish together as much as we used to. We got different tournament partners, but so it's always nice to get out and hang out. We've been friends for a long time, obviously, but
yeah.
I think the most memorable moment of the entire trip was, I don't think the sun was over top of the trees. I mean, it was pretty early. Yeah. It was too early. It was pretty early. We're making some casts. I just caught one, and the big guy over here goes, "There's an 84% chance I don't catch a fish today."
Listen, folks, I just call it like I see it, okay? My man TG over here is front boating the living hell out of me, okay? We're live scoping in the middle of Dale Hollow. If you've been to Dale Hollow Lake, it's huge, okay? There's not a bank in sight. And my man is hogging the screen. I can't see the fish. I don't know where my bait is. So I'm just blind casting to whatever direction he's casting at. And then this guy has the audacity to make fun of me for not catching as many fish as him. What's that all about?
Dude, whatever. I mean, I will say, to add insult to injury, you did catch one. Yeah. Tell me how that hook set went.
It was a little rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so, what was that?
That was one of those surprise fish where you're reeling your jig back to the boat and you're like, "Surprise, mother!" And you just do what you can to get into the boat, right?
I was kind of go for like your position. I mean, you're a little out of position. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I may or may not have been sitting down, admitting defeat for the day. Blind casted a jig to the bank, reeling it back in, get my only good bite of the day, catch my only fish of the day, sitting down fishing like like I was about to eat my sandwich. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, to make kind of the ride a little bit longer, getting home, we ran into some friends of ours, James and Jacob Key, and they're down there smashing 'em.
Yeah, doing the thing that I was doing, sitting down, catching a fish at the end of the day, right?
Maybe that was their tip. Maybe they weren't sitting down.
Yeah, maybe that was what it is. But yeah, definitely, we're out trying to get better at scoping, which is a blind spot in my game. I don't know about your game, but obviously, like that's a piece that as I think about goals for fishing for the year, I definitely want to get better at. We're trying to add a tool to our tool belt down there, and these guys are whacking them on football jigs on points. So it's tough to hear, but at the end of the day, you're either getting better or you're taking a step backwards. So I think we did the right thing.
Yeah, I won't belittle the point, but 100% right. I mean, it necessarily wasn't about going down there and catching a whole bunch of fish. It was about learning new techniques, and maybe been a little stubborn there. Might have suffered through a little bit longer than we normally would have to try to figure some things out. And I think I figured out some things towards the end there. Just maybe relied on some old spots too much, trying to force something versus fishing the pattern, fishing the day. So
yeah,
but that's the way it goes. But turning the corner. I guess getting ready to start a new fishing season. I'm pretty jacked up about it. I mean, so jacked up. I mean, here I am having a podcast in my basement.
So jacked up, you just upend your whole house. Call your buddy. You say, "Hey, man, I just want to talk fishing." You know what? I'm in. Let's do it.
I mean, I want to talk fishing. I got a tackle store going, BourbonCityTackle.com.
Bourbon City, baby.
Selling a few lures. Got a pitiful tackle selection right there behind you, but growing big. Got my first dealership license today.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Super excited about that. Got a dealership license with Nick Lowe's. Got some other companies in the works, finalizing some deals there. So hoping to bring some good tackle soon.
Yeah.
But first of the year.
Yeah, it's that time, buddy. I mean, around Kentucky, this is like Christmas for the anglers. Everybody's opening their presents, seeing what their schedule is going to look like. And for some of us, we get coal in our stockings. For some of us, we got that dream that we asked Santa Claus for. So how are you feeling about some of the schedules that you've seen so far?
Well, in the last couple of years, we fished bluegrass. And, bluegrass is a big club tournament series here in Kentucky. We got about 45, 50 boats or so. Been around for a long time, and that schedule just came out. We'll probably fish that series, and it's looking like it's going to look a lot like last year, which I'm not super excited about.
Yeah, tough year last year. Yeah, I do think one thing about the schedule that I like is we're going to get to kind of experience Kentucky in all of its glory, right? So, what is winter, late winter, early spring fishing in Kentucky look like? Well, there's probably no better way to put it than Lake Cumberland. So what do you think is going to play? Like, that's going to be a tough, cold, Highland Reservoir type lake where you got to kind of figure them out. What's your thoughts?
I just hope it goes better than last year.
You and me both, buddy. I mean, I cast a check, but I cast a check with 7 pounds. So, it was a tough day. It was freezing cold. Which
I think the high was like 22 degrees.
Yeah, when you're fishing and the eyes of your rod are frozen over and your hand, you can't feel your hands. You begin to ask yourself, what are we doing out here chasing these little green fish?
Which, by the way, after an entire day of de-thawing my eyelets, I'm like dipping them back in and letting them freeze every 10 minutes. Because I think the high was 22 degrees that day. Super cold, stupid. My wife said I was an idiot. She said I was crazy for being out there. I saw a TikTok the other day. Maybe I should have known this whole time. Apparently, you can spray Pam cooking spray.
What?
On the eyelets, and it won't freeze.
It prevents all that.
It looks like it sheds the water or something like that. So I'm going to keep that tip in the back of my mind.
Dude, we could go down the rabbit hole on that. Like, can the fish taste it? Do they like Pam or do they like Crisco? Yeah, Pan or Pan? Are you saying Pan?
Pammed.
I can help with the whole Pam dilemma. Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting theory.
But bluegrass schedule, first tournament up again, Cumberland, around the same time. I think it's like around that mid-March time frame.
Yeah, freeze your ass off time frame. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's going to be an interesting tournament. A lot of times the rock crawler plays down there. I mean, if you don't know about the rock crawler, I don't know if you ever read a single article about
That's
Lake
right.
Cumberland.
You haven't watched a YouTube video. Where have you been?
Yeah, so I hope I'm not sharing any secrets out, but that's a secret for you.
Our bad.
You might want to watch a couple YouTubers on
Absolutely.
that. But yeah, rock crawler plays. The thing that really makes Lake Cumberland interesting every year is, do you fish for smallmouth or largemouth?
It's the gamble that we all consider on the way down. Do I
What's
send
your?
it? Do I send it for the smallies or do I go after largemouth? I personally like
I
to
mean,
go. I like to go after the largemouth. And the reason for that is every time I've tried to catch smallmouth on that lake, I go through 15, 16 pounds of smallmouth and catch 0 keepers. Nothing's going in my box. And I'm breaking my heart all day throwing 17-inch fish back. I don't know if you have the same experience.
I mean, if there's a 17-inch and 7/8 fish in Lake Cumberland, I caught it, shook its hand, got to know its family, and let it go. I mean, by this point, I should be naming these guys and feeding them, because it is nothing's more frustrating than being down there and catching an over 3-pound fish, right? That would do you a lot of good in a tournament and come up an 1/8 inch short, and that's the way it seems to go.
It's rough. Yeah, I think I've had some success, and when I say success, folks, like I'm talking about cashing in check.
Like fifth from last.
Well, I mean, it's relative, right? So like everybody's sucking. It's a tough day. It's cold. I weigh in 7 pounds. I think in the bluegrass last year. Yeah, you're laughing, but I got some money for the way home. I think I took 6th place in bluegrass. I think in our little club tournament that we fished before the bluegrass, I think I took 3rd. But again, really selling out for the largemouth bite, and then late in the day relying on live scope and really hoping that you can piss off enough spotted bass to get them to bite on the scope, which is what ended up paying off for me. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of the pros have come down there and straight whacked them. I mean, we've all seen the Scott Martin videos. We've seen the fall videos. We've seen the videos where people go in there and whack them on, the spinner baits and the rock crawlers. But I'll say this: it would sure be nice. Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, if you're listening right now.
Yeah, please.
On March 16th, at the size limit of a smallmouth, could be 15 inches.
Yeah.
I'll send you a Christmas card.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, we're talking a shout out on the podcast, maybe even a little discount on the store, like whatever you got to work. I don't care. Work your trickery, make it happen, please.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But definitely looking forward to it. It's that time of year to organize tackle, or build a tackle store, or build a podcast.
Yeah.
But turning the corner, got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Got there's an East Tennessee big expo down there around Knoxville coming up.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was actually at Cabela's the other day, bought a rod, and the guy, the Cabela's associate there, was walking me through that expo, and basically, don't want to rat this guy out, but was talking me out of buying a G Loomis at Cabela's for a spinning rod that's available at the expo through one of his friends. So definitely looking forward to checking that out, seeing what all the new stuff is, especially the stuff that came out from ICAST, and really getting into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's becoming a very big tackle show, and something I'd love to make it down to some point in time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, we get through March, and then it's magic season in Kentucky again. It's Disneyland on water, folks, and I cannot wait. I think when you think about fishing in Kentucky, there is no better time for me than April. And April on Green River, on Barren River Lake, really any lake in the state. I just love that April bass fishing. Is that your favorite time, or what does that look like for you?
I like them all. The only thing I hate is the fall. I mean, I really enjoy watching the fish move through the different, stages of the spawn. Whether it be pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn. The science of trying to figure out what in the heck they're doing and why they're doing it, and how it relates to the water temperature. I'm a data guy. Like that's for what my job is. That's what I've sort of been known for, in my career. And nothing makes me more excited than putting together all the pieces of the puzzle, or at least trying to. And granted, most of the time getting it wrong too.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out that puzzle is what really does it for me on from a bass fishing perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the combinations of water clarity, of temperature, of patterns are endless, and it really feels good when you're able to kind of figure that out, especially like if you've put some time in on the water and really started to develop that. When that cashes in and pays off for you, there's nothing better. There's nothing better out there. So I look forward to that piece. I also think that April is a great time for a couple other reasons. So this will be the second straight year that your boy's gonna be off work, hanging out,
Dude,
fish.
I don't know if I need to sit down and have a talk about the birds and the bees.
You might at this
But
point.
but this is gonna be like what, your fourth kid in how many years?
Fourth kid in 5 years.
Yeah.
Second kid in April. I don't know if you can tell if I love bass fishing or not, but there might have been some plans there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you get some pretty attractive paternity there, right?
it's going to be great. 6 weeks and get to relax, spend some time with the family, and then obviously spend some time catching some awesome fish that time of year.
So have you taken those 6 weeks like every year for the last 4 years?
I have no. Unfortunately, no. I wish
we need one of those. We need those like buzzer sounds.
That indicated that was bullshit.
Turns out that was a lie. Yeah. I need a little envelope somebody handed out to me. The survey says. Yeah, but anyhow, it's that time of the year. Definitely, researching things, looking at tackle shows, thinking about schedules. What's your favorite wintertime pastime?
Gosh. Well, we talked about the kids. It's really morphed over the years. Back in the day, I hated Christmas. Obviously, I've been in retail and distribution for most of my career. Drives me nuts. But now that I got the kids, I get really into Christmas with them, going out, looking at all the Christmas decorations, making the house look like, it's, Christmas vacation all over again. And then when it comes to fishing, I just like piddling around in the garage. Like, this is a great time of year to get all your stuff cleaned, everything organized, relabeled. And then, another great time to head over to BCT and get you some baits for the, when you're missing.
Baits,
like that
tackles, lures. Yeah. BCT.
That's right, baby.
BourbonCityTackle.com.
Yeah, please go there and buy something. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we pay our bills. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what I enjoy doing. I mean, I have had the blessing the past couple of years to be able to get down to Florida this time of year, especially around Christmas. I've fished headwaters down there a couple times.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing like it, man. Like, being out on that water, just something about the landscape, the alligators, the quality of the fish, the number of the fish, and then just that whole experience. There's nothing like Florida. I can see why many people run down there when they retire and just spend the rest of their life fishing.
So are you a live bait guy, plastics guy? What are you doing down there?
I love, obviously, like, I love artificial, but it is like taking candy from a baby fishing with live shiners down there. And it really depends. So I like to do a little bit of both, especially on headwaters, getting fired up with some live shiners in the morning and then switching over to artificial to really grind it out throughout the rest of the day. It's awesome. And you have a chance, especially on top water, with that punching and flipping bite, to really catch some good quality fish. And that's what I'm all about. So I'm looking forward to that piece. Just wrapped up a trip, actually, late last year to headwaters, where we were catching over 50 a day. Looking forward. I'm planning a trip this year where we're actually going to ride a boat down there, because that was with a guide, and I can't wait. So it's going to be a good time.
Awesome. Now, where's Headwaters at?
So Headwaters is about 20 minutes from Vero Beach. Vero Beach is kind of right on the Atlantic Ocean side of Florida, and it's about an hour from Okeechobee. So what's really awesome about it is you can fish both. If you're staying down there, you can fish Okeechobee one day, fish Headwaters, and a lot of the guides down there will take you out on both.
And is that like flipping reeds? Like, what are you doing down there?
It's the time of the year. So I typically go in October. So we're fishing a lot of top water. We're flipping. Obviously, they love to fish live shiners. The people that fish live shiners are catching 60, 70, 80 bass a day. And there's been the 9, 10 pounders that come out of that. But from the most part, from what I've seen, a green pumpkin or watermelon red fluke plays like in the main channels, and then you can flip. Which everybody down there loves June bug, so a June bug creature bait, and then obviously top water, so either a prop bait, a walking bait, whatever plays. And then what I found really interesting this past time was stuff that we use up here, like a jerk bait, really plays in and around those lily pads and some of those grass mats. So that was interesting to see. Never thought I'd be throwing a jerk bait in 4 foot of water in the middle of Florida, but here we are, and it actually caught fish. So
Yeah, is that on braid or we throwing that on?
So we were throwing it on 20-pound mono and really trying to just target isolated cover, like like I said, isolated lily pads, isolated little patches of grass sticking up, the reeds that
Fun.
these fish get up and spawn on. So, but it was awesome. It was a good trip. I was actually able to take my brother-in-law, and my sister. They caught some good fish, and they don't get to catch good fish very often. So, getting them hooked on the sport was pretty neat.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been making a lot of winter trips. Certainly I've made some big trips. We've been down to Guntersville together several times. Made it down this fall.
Yeah.
I had a trip to the St. Lawrence River this last summer. Maybe we'll talk about that more in a future podcast. But I think the lake that's on my bucket list, it has to be OHIV.
Oh, absolutely. The land of giants, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys follow Josh Jones. Yeah, you've seen Josh Jones, I'm sure. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock like the Geico commercial.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that guy has been absolutely smashing them out there.
That's right. And not just like numbers, smashing giants, double-digit bass left and right. Seems like every other day I see on Facebook where another double digit has come out of that lake. It's insane.
Yeah, and we got a local boy out there now.
Dalton Smith, yeah, old Kentucky boy going down south to show him how it's done. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the story there, but the rumor is that he kind of went out there, fished it, loved it so much, and said, "Hey, I'm going to live here."
Yeah,
and guide full time. Now he's been guiding out there for, I guess, over a year now.
Hats off to you, brother. That's the dream. I wish we could all do it. Yeah.
I wonder what the dating scene's like down there.
Oh man, Texas,
just outside San Angelo.
Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna. Next question, please. Let's keep ourselves going.
Yeah, a good friend of ours, Big Sexy's on his way out there, from what I understand.
Yeah, if he catches a double-digit bass, you're gonna color me jealous all week hearing about it. But we wish him luck and hope he has a good time. Absolutely.
Very cool, very cool. But super excited to get on this podcast with you. First one, knocking it out of the park, I think. I mean, not so much. We're going to figure this out as we go. But learning every day. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too, man. I look forward to catching up, every so often, talking what we love, talking about fishing, drinking some really good bourbon, which I got to point out, my glass is empty. Is your glass empty?
It is empty, and next time I'm pouring the cheap stuff in your glass. I
was going to say it's ready for another pour, brother.
But really appreciate you guys joining this week on Bourbon City Tackles podcast. Got a lot of good content coming up. Please stay tuned. See you soon. Later.
BourbonCityTackle.com.
Yeah, visit us. Come by our tackle.
Absolutely.